the first reason I started directing and writing short films and stuff when I was younger was I actually had terrible audition anxiety. This was right at the time that like Girls was on the air, Insecure, all that stuff. So I had this blueprint of these amazing artists who were just creating their own work. And I was like, okay, maybe I could try doing that. Originally it was for an acting vehicle for me. And now I mean, I love directing so much, but I didn't know that back then. I just was like, I gotta be in something.
That makes perfect sense. Fun fact, I hate public speaking. And so I started doing like YouTube videos and these interviews to try to work on that. And
Look at
I feel
that.
like it's kind of helped. Hey everyone, it's David Stark from Watch Our Past. Today I'm talking to writer, director, star, executive producer, does it all, Sara Friedman, about her new movie Heightened, which is already out. It came out on digital on demand on October 1st, 2024. I'm going to talk to her right now. And while you're watching, if you can like and subscribe to this channel, that would be fantastic. I'll spend a lot. Thank you. All right, so thanks so much for joining me today. I've got Sara Friedman, the writer, director, executive producer, star, does it all for her movie Heightened, which is already out. It came to digital on demand October 1st, 2024. It is a quirky indie romantic comedy that has a really great sense of humor. I love the chemistry between the two leads and a really interesting style. I am very excited to talk to you, and I have brought all of my favorite orange food so that we can enjoy all of this together. It'll be wonderful.
Wow.
I
Don't
wish I
worry,
could
it's not autobiographical.
I wish I could crunch them, but Zoom would just get rid of all of that. So unfortunately for you, you can't hear the crunch, but just think about it.
That part is autobiographical. So.
Oh, okay, perfect. I'm trying to keep you on edge so we get a really good interview. So I'm just kind of curious about this movie. To me, I've only watched it, a couple times, but it seems like a story of a, ungrateful daughter and her loving, caring parents. She just doesn't appreciate what they do for her. Is that kind of where the genesis of the story came from?
Yeah, it is funny. The parents, they're not villains. They're just dealing with their own issues. But yes, it is about a young woman who has a mental breakdown and has to go home to live with her parents while she undergoes some treatment. And
As
it doesn't go great.
Yeah, well, I mean that seems to be probably going to be more common as the millennials age up. They don't leave home anyway, so they'll go out into the world, have mental breakdowns, come back. It's just going to be a circle of life.
It's just a millennial story.
Exactly. Now this I looked in your bio. There was a short called Heightened in 2015. I assume this was based on that. So
Yeah.
what led to that original short?
So, my background is in acting, and I studied theater directing as well in college, and I really wanted to get into film a little bit. So, I came up with the idea. I wrote the short, and it was sort of like my film school. And that's where I learned that I really love directing for film, for camera, and acting on camera. And pretty much since then, I've exclusively worked on camera. And when it came time to do my first feature, I just had never been able to get those characters out of my head. So I developed that into a feature.
So you were fixated on these characters and couldn't get past. It's so poetic. I love it.
I just, every short film I made got better and better and better. And like I said, that was the first one. And I kept going, oh, I wish I had known this when I made the short. Oh, I wish that I had been better at this when I made the short. And I was like, well, that doesn't have to be over. Just make it a feature.
Yeah, just quadruple, quintuple your work and take on a giant project. It's easy.
It is so easy. And now that I've made the feature and have learned so much and am hopefully a better filmmaker, maybe I'll remake Heightened in 20 years. It'll
Yeah.
be way better than before.
Turn it into a Netflix series. That's the next evolution, right?
Yeah, that's the next evolution.
Yeah.
No, I'm definitely done with it now, but it just, those Nora and Dusty, the two leads specifically, I have such a soft spot for them.
And they were wonderful. I'm curious though, since you were like fixated on this for however many years, let's call it 6 years, 7 years, was it easy to flesh this out into a feature, or was that a difficult process since like Heightened was kind of like its own thing, and then you had to like come up with a story to expand it all?
Yeah, I kept the main premise, the main crux. The biggest sort of challenge was figuring out in expanding the world. Actually, at one point, I went too far into too many new characters, too much of a new story, and then remembered to sort of dial it back. So it was really just about figuring out what the actual correct scope is for a movie like this.
I think Marvel's had that same problem with their cinematic universe too. They get a little bit too extreme, too many characters, and they have to like dial it back too. So
Yeah, the
happens to
Heightened
everyone.
cinematic universe has about, 5 characters.
Five wonderful, important characters.
Yeah.
And you said, you loved directing, you loved this character. I assume you were always set to play kind of the lead. You're always set to play Nora.
Yeah, the first reason I started directing and writing short films and stuff when I was younger was I actually had terrible audition anxiety. So I wasn't booking any roles. So I was like, okay, well, and this was right at the time that like Girls was on the air, Insecure, all that stuff. So I had this blueprint of these amazing artists who were just creating their own work. And I was like, okay, maybe I could try doing that. So originally it was for an acting vehicle for me. And now I mean, I love directing so much, but I didn't know that back then. I just was like, I gotta be in something.
That makes perfect sense. Fun fact, I hate public speaking, and so I started doing like YouTube videos and these interviews to try to work on that, and
Look at
I feel
that.
like it's kind of helped. So
That's amazing. Yeah,
there you
that
go.
the reason we start something doesn't need to be the reason we keep doing it.
Exactly, exactly. And now I do it because I'm just, I need it. I need this rush that I get now from it. You mentioned that you love, the characters Nora and Dusty. I love the chemistry between you two. Where did you find Dave Register? Had you worked with him before, or was that just like a normal casting call?
We actually grew up together. So I've known Dave since I was a kid. We're both from the same small town in Maine and did, high school theater together. And then we he was 4 years older than me, so we were, in the friendly but not super good friends. And then when this idea came to me, I was like, I should reach out to Dave Register. That would be the greatest. He would be so good at this role, just knowing him from growing up. And he was incredible in the short, incredible in the feature. And yeah, I think we have a really great, easy chemistry because we have just known each other for so long.
So that's awesome. I love that. I love that, that it all came full circle. And yeah, you're right. Like, he knows you. He knows, at least knows you growing up. There's no discomfort with the acting, so it kind of like made everything easy.
Yeah, exactly. And it's, the two characters are so awkward with each other, and actually to do that well, you need to be really comfortable with each other to be okay sort of falling into that really awkward space. So we have a ton of fun working together.
That's awesome. And I also loved, interactions with your parents. Some of them were a little bit, more contentious, but had you worked with Sarah Clarke or Xander Berkeley before?
I had not. I had known their work forever. They are two, absolute just icons. I think Xander has like 300 credits on IMDb. I've grew up watching both of them. So I was thrilled when they signed on, and they're also married in real life. So they thought that it would be fun to be married on screen, and they were just absolute dreams to work with. They are such champions of indie film and newer directors that I think like if you look on Xander's IMDb, right after Heightened is The Mandalorian. He's
S-
like,
Same
yeah,
vein. Yeah, basically
yeah,
same thing.
same
Yeah,
budget.
yeah.
But no, so they're so generous with their time and their talents, and it was just a real pleasure to have them.
I love how you mentioned Xander's IMDb entries of like 300. You are rapidly going to approach that if you keep doing, writing, directing, executive producing. I'm surprised you didn't compose in this film too, because like
I know, right?
your credits are ballooning. I love it.
I do sing.
There we go.
I am there. My voice is humming in the very last scene when they jump off the dock.
Oh, I hope you had that too. You're like a what, quintuple
Vocalist.
threat at this point?
Yeah,
Jeez.
no, my composer, shout out to Nick Senna, my composer for this film is just so incredibly talented. I caught him right as his career was just blowing up. He's composed his TV shows, and somehow he still wants to work with me. So
That's awesome. No, this sounds like kind of like everything worked out perfect, like lightning in a bottle, essentially, to make this movie.
yeah.
You mentioned that you're from Maine. I assume this was also filmed in Maine. Is that kind of where this was filmed? Was it filmed in like your hometown?
Yep. A lot of it was filmed in my hometown. I grew up about 10 minutes outside of Portland, so this whole movie is filmed all in the sort of it's called the greater Portland area, just the towns around Portland. The Lobster Shack is that they go to and eat the lobster at. I have spent, many, many a summer just kind of eating lobster rolls there. So it was really fun to be back.
That's awesome. And were you able to like were extras like locals from the town? Like were you able to, and did you get like other friends to come
Oh
help as
yeah.
well?
Yeah, there's actually a wonderful another woman I went to high school with, Kendall Cooper, is a very successful casting director now in New England, and she did all our local casting, and she does casting for they're filming a Walking Dead in Boston, or she did BG for Little Women, all that kind of stuff. So she was lovely enough to hop on and just put out these casting calls, like she called like the yoga studio that we all go to when we're in Maine. And it's like, hey, we need like 10 yogis for the yoga scene. She really just populated it with locals in such a great way.
That's awesome. That's both fun and also like a nice little like nod to your hometown and to people that, at least grew up with you or at least are in the
Yeah.
area to let them kind of be part of this movie
In
too.
the bar exam scene, and it's like I went to high school with her, I went to high school with him, I went to high school with her. So
And now look at you. Now you're directing them. You are the
I
champion.
know. Down and shut up. Yeah.
So I know we have limited time. I'm gonna switch to a lightning round. They're just lightweight questions about the film. I want to see how your personal experiences map with things in the movie. Feel free to skip any of them. I won't be offended, but I try to keep them very answerable. First question: do you go to therapy
Yes.
voluntarily?
Yes.
Excellent. Excellent. I think everyone needs to go to therapy, especially in these days. This movie starts with a fire alarm that goes off. When was the last time that a fire alarm, either like your own smoke detector or like in a building, went off that disrupted your life?
Honestly, probably very recently because anytime I try to cook steak on my stove, the fire alarm in my kitchen goes off.
That's the fire alarm's problem. It's too sensitive. You need that char to make the steak taste really good.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Have you ever wanted to be a lawyer?
No, but my whole family, everybody, all lawyers. So I have worked as an assistant paralegal for many summers at my dad's law firm.
Excellent. That actually leads right into my next question. What anxieties have you gotten from your mother or father? I assume there are some with your family being lawyers.
I would say 100% of my anxieties came from my father. No, maybe more like 90. And pretty much none have come from my mother. She's quite stable.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, yes. Fathers do tend, I mean, anxieties come from one parent, so it makes sense that you would get more from one than the other. So,
Oh my
um,
God, beautiful neuroses. I have
I'm sure they're helpful. Like some of them are probably helpful when you're making a film. So certain
very,
OCDs are good. So,
very.
uh, related, how do you relieve anxiety?
I therapy and medication are really important. A huge thing for me has been exercise, lifting weights has actually been one of the most helpful things for me to relieve anxiety. And whenever I'm spiraling, I like to read a trashy book.
All good things. Let's see those guns. Let's get a flex.
Oh man, I'm wearing a
Yeah.
big
Boom. There
baggy
we go.
shirt, but
You
but
can
I can
see it.
lift
It's popping out. Yeah.
still.
There's a prominent yoga scene in this film. Do you do yoga? Is that part of your exercise routine?
I do. I enjoy yoga a lot. I went 2 days ago, but probably once or twice a month, not super frequently. But
But
I find
enough.
the breathing is very helpful for anxiety for sure.
Yeah. And also probably for projecting your voice. So it works both ways.
Yes.
This movie starts with a very big test, and then Dusty also has a very big test involved. What is the biggest test that you have taken, or maybe most stressful?
I'm gonna brag for a second. I'm really good at like standardized testing. So probably just the SATs and I crushed it.
Damn. No, I love it. You know what? If you're good at it, don't hide it. Yeah.
I don't think that other people should be judged on standardized testing. It's not like a real skill, but it's just a skill that I have.
You don't think other people should be judged, but you're glad that they are because it
But
like
I'm glad
lets
that
you
they are.
succeed.
Thank
And the last question, what is your favorite orange food?
I actually really hate oranges. That part's real. So my favorite orange food would have to be, I guess, like cheddar cheese. I do love cheese.
That's a solid choice. I'd like to unpack how you hate oranges, though. That seems, I don't
I have a,
understand.
I've got a fruit thing. I don't like most fruits. It's my weird fun fact.
So that was actually that was in the movie too. So there we go. Yeah, there
It
there
was
is.
the reasoning. It's not because they're dirty. The reasoning was different. I gave her a weird reason, but yes, I've got a fruit thing. Everyone in my life knows about it. Don't eat an orange around me at all. It makes me feel sick.
Well, I will not start peeling this as we're
I
talking.
can't smell it, so we're fine.
Uh,
Uh,
I'll send it to you after.
yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, God, orange foods, there really aren't that many.
Now let's see, Cheez-Its, cheese puffs, some sort of sherbets
Really
probably.
good. Yeah, I don't love cheese puffs. Cheez-Its, the extra toasty ones, awesome.
Excellent. Well, I'm glad that you have, overcome some aspects of the of your
Thank
orange
you.
hatred. So the film is already out. It came out on October 1st, 2024. You're out promoting it, getting the word out, letting people know. But after people see Heightened, is there anything else they can look forward to from you next? Do you have any other projects on the horizon? Any other anxieties to explore?
Oh, always. Yeah, I got a couple working on a couple features right now. One is a dark comedy that deals a lot with grief, and the other is a folk horror. So all over the place.
I love both of those genres, so I am very excited to see those. But while you wait patiently for those, you can check out Heightened. It's out on digital and on demand on October 1st, 2024. This is writer, director, star, executive producer, Hummer, Sara Friedman. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thanks so much. This was a lot of fun. That was Sara Friedman, the writer, director, executive producer, star of Heightened, which came to digital and on demand on October 1st, 2024. It is a quirky indie romantic comedy that has some wonderful humor, really great chemistry between the leads, and a nice style. If you like this interview, please like and subscribe to this channel. It helps me out a lot. Make sure all my new content goes straight to you. Thank you.